Hey everybody. As we've said in our previous videos, me and Jordan have about 1 million projects going on at one time. Sometimes it's a little hard to balance them, but that's kind of part of the fun of being here, is having all these projects. One I kind of wanted to go over that I've been slowly working on and learning more about, and that is composting. We have plans to make a vegetable garden here pretty soon. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge because obviously we need to find a way to keep our vegetable garden away from the goats and the chickens, and Mia, we found out, likes to eat tomatoes right off of the vine back in Reno. So that's one of the projects we'll have in the future, but to prep for that, I started doing some research on composting. I do have some horse manure in a compost pile right now that I've been turning and adding a little bit of water to, so that that'll turn into a good fertilizer for use later. And then I started collecting kitchen waste to compost instead of throwing it away. And that's good for a number of reasons. One, it's generally better for the environment because you're not just throwing away this biodegradable material in plastic bags in the trash to sit in a landfill. You're repurposing it, and then obviously it's good for creating fertile soil, and is a big benefit to us long term. The composting I'm going to be doing is going to consist of using these 5-gallon buckets I got on Amazon as composting bins. I'm going to end up drilling some holes in these along the bottom, because when you have a compost bin, you need to have good drainage. And then on the sides, I want some holes, not a ton, but just enough so there's good airflow. And then on the top and the lids, I'll drill some holes around the top too, so that we have drainage and we have airflow. Once I do that, I'll start adding the composting material, the kitchen waste. I have 2 buckets because I'd like to use one to initially start filling up, and then once that's filled and the material starts to break down, I'll set that aside and tend to it every once in a while, add some water if necessary, and then start filling up the second bin with composting material. If it gets to the point where I have more material than I have buckets, I may add 2, maybe 3 more buckets, just depends. So some of the material that you can use for composting is like fresh vegetable stuff that you're not going to eat. Coffee grounds are good, which is great because I drink a lot of coffee. Tea bags. It says any grains, so like if you have some leftover moldy bread, that's good, or noodles. You can't add anything with oil in it. So if you like cook up some noodles and put a sauce on it or something like that, you don't want to add that to your mixture. You don't want to add anything that's got dairy or like animal products in it, because then it's just going to stink. It's not going to break down as quickly. So typically you just want to stick to anything that's like an organic material. They say you can add eggshells. You just need to make sure you break them up really good so they'll break down faster. And then one thing that I thought was weird, I don't know if we're going to add it because it creeps Jordan out, but you can add pet hair. And with a golden retriever, as it's warming up, she's shedding, we've got a lot of pet hair. So another part of the composting process is that you need to add a brown, they call it like a brown substance to it. So like the first layer of this bucket is going to be leaves, brown dried leaves. You can use like hay or like grass clippings, but you got to remember whatever you're putting in here, you want it broken up really good so that it'll break down easier. So like sticks would not be a good idea. I've also read that you can add paper towel tubes. Just cut it up really good. People use shredded paper and cardboard. I'm going to avoid anything that's got any ink printed on it because I don't want that ink to get into the soil and eventually run off, especially because we're on a well. Online, in my research, it's also said that you can add some kind of like a catalyst to the mix to begin the composting process. And I read that you can add chicken poop, which we have a lot of, given we have 15 chickens, or you can add like a composting additive that you just buy commercially at like someplace like Tractor Supply. So I'll probably add some chicken poop to it to see if I can get the process started a little bit quicker. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. If you guys have any tips or tricks or questions, feel free to post them in the comments, and then like, subscribe, and share with your friends. See how it goes. I'll update you guys later.